Welcome. I bid you welcome. John Clauser, Johnny Metal, the Metal Dad, coming to you from my music corner of the world. And today I just felt this spur of the moment to do a quick solo show. I know this is kind of strange. No John the Music Nut, no rock and north and south rock and metal connection, just me. I know this is weird. So, what's the reason for this spur of the moment show? Well, today is July 25th, 2024. And it was 44 years ago today, this gem was released into the world. Now, unless you have been living under a rock and you have zero knowledge about this and the story of how this came to be, I don't think I need to go into that. We all know Bon Scott, the original vocalist, passed away earlier in the year in February. They get a new singer, they get Brian Johnson, and something happens where they create magic. that's the best way I can describe this album. I think when I first heard this, probably late 1980 into 1981, if I had a guess. I don't think I was on board with it right as it came out because I would have been about 1980. So I would have been about 11. And I was still pretty much into Kiss. That was my main band at the time. So I wasn't into that just yet. I would hear I would hear like stuff on the radio. I probably heard a little bit of everything. I probably heard like Back in Black. I probably heard Highway to Hell. Probably even heard Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap by 81. I started hearing a lot of the various forms of AC/DC, and I was like, I kind of dig this, you know. So so I'm just gonna go to a quick thing on this album. You probably you're probably thinking, why? Anybody who knows this album will know all the songs. Well, you haven't heard me talk about it, maybe. Not that I'm important or anything, but so as I said, released today, July 25th, 44 years ago, produced by Mutt Lange. This is like, how they always say when you do your debut album, it's like you've had your entire career to write your debut album. And you're sometimes you kind of blow your load on that first album. That's why they always have that sophomore slump where, yeah, maybe that second album wasn't quite so good because you didn't have all your life to write it. Well, I treat this more or less like a debut album. Maybe they didn't have their entire lives to write it, but I sure treat it like one because you'd think they've spent a long, long time crafting these songs. When you get the opening track, Hell's Bells, and you get that ominous bell to start the song, you know, there's your homage to their fallen previous lead singer, Bon Scott, the driving force, as it were, the front man, you know, the front man that so many would go on to copy. And of course, you have Angus's riffs. Angus is playing Malcolm's riffs more, not so much Angus's riffs, more Malcolm. You got Phil Rudd and Cliff Williams, just one of the best rhythm sections ever. You know, they're nothing they're nothing fancy. They just lock in that groove. What more do you need? Right? Um, Hell's Bells, as I said, you get that ominous bell tolling, and then you get that arpeggiated A chord, the descending riff, and you just get this slow build as those bells still keep chiming, and then you hear Phil coming in with the hi-hat. You hear everybody coming in slowly. Man, you feel that excitement because something strong is building, you know? And then Brian Johnson comes in with his vocals. Totally different style from Bon Scott. You get this really high, almost not, I don't want to say screech, but a very high pitched, different sound where Bon had that very suave, very kind of, oh, I don't know. He had a different style, a different swagger to it. But Hell's Bells, I'm coming on like a hurricane. My life is flashing. My life is flashing before the sky. You're only young, but you're gonna die. I read where Brian talked about where those lyrics came from. They were I think it was down in Nassau Point, and there was a bad storm, like a hurricane coming up, and that's kind of where it started. But again, you feel the emotion of the background vocals. You feel every note that Angus plays in the solo. I get excited every time I listen to this song now as when I did 43, 44 years ago when I first heard this song. To me, it's probably one of the best AC/DC songs, bar none. Bar none. Shoot to Thrill. Another just great song, great riffs. Again, the way this song is constructed, you have your ups and your downs. And yeah, maybe AC/DC doesn't do a lot of 5-minute songs anymore, but this one was so perfectly crafted. You have those. I love right after the solo, you get these kind of this quiet little interlude, or Brian gets the swagger going and gets you back into that chorus to end it out. It's a good song. Another one, fun one. What do you do for money, honey? Again, just AC/DC at its best. Um, Giving the dog a bone. Again, just another straight ahead rocker, good riffs. Um, I just love Angus's playing on all of these. What do you do for money, honey? Giving the dog a bone. It fits. There's something that just fits so well, and I just love that about those songs. Let Me Put My Love Into You. Of course, that one made the nasty 15, the naughty 15, the filthy 15, whatever they were called. And yeah, okay, it's a very slinky, sexy uh type of song that you probably would think you'll hear at a strip bar or something. Um, but yeah, very, very double entendre lyrics here from Brian. And but it's that slow riff, that dun 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 bum dun 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 bum ba dum bum. Great, just great. Again, emotion riff. You just feel it. You can't help but feel it. You flip the album over, Back in Black. You get the da 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 da. Classic riff. We've heard it 100,000 million times, but when you listen to it in the context of the album, it fits, and you feel good about listening to this song. Again, you get a classic riff, classic Angus solo, goes into You Shook Me All Night Long. Another song, if I never hear it again, I'm okay. but in the context of listening to it here, start to finish, it's perfect. What more can I say about that song? Have a Drink on Me, another fun song, another good lot of good stuff here. Good playing from Angus again. Good, just everything great. Shake a Leg, a little more up tempo, fun song. Gotta love it. Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution, the slower blues track, maybe the weakest song on the album, but again, in the context, it fits perfectly as to end the album. So AC/DC to me just has never, I just don't feel like they've ever captured that lightning in a bottle the way they have in this album ever again. Maybe for a song or two, but not for a full album. Power Up is close, but it's no Back in Black by any stretch of the imagination. Um, for those about to rock, we salute you has its moments. Flick of the Switch was rather underrated, and has its moments, but I by that point I was pretty much off the AC/DC train. I think I'd hear songs like Sink the Pink and Who Made Who. Of course, you hear Thunderstruck. But again, are the albums are the albums of this kind of consistency, of this kind of magic in a bottle? That's the question I want to throw out to you. So you let me know what you think about this one in the comments. Okay. Thank you for just tuning in for this quick little solo show, and looking forward to coming back to you guys next week when John and I tackle Twisted Sisters Come Out and Play. Who knows? You might see a couple more solo shows before then. But until then, um, John Clauser, Johnny Metal, the Metal Dad, coming to you from a music corner. We'll see you soon. Take care, everybody.